What, if I can ask, what led to the divorce? Was it the business? What? Because y'all were together for 5 years.
Yes, and I learned a valuable lesson.
Okay.
So he was the first person that did not cheat on me.
Many black men are going to go overseas and they're going to see sights that they never thought they'd see. They're going to see young ladies moving in ways that they never thought they'd ever see, in shades that they never thought that they'd see moving such ways. And it's going to inspire some of those young men to think, well, what do we always think in the black community when we see a young lady who is sexy in a way that we think is amazing, but we want to keep her all to ourselves? Well, the familiar phrase of, how can I lock her down?
I've been with the same dude for the last 10 years. So all my underwear looks like it's been snacked on by rats.
Ali Wong is a good representation of modern dating in two aspects. In the first aspect, of course, she wants to date the way that the top 15-20% of men date, where she wants to just sow her oats, if you will, and she wants to be with the people that she chooses, be they very attractive or be they very moneyed. But the second thing that I think is a representation of how she is the modern woman, if you will, is that she's lost the ability to nest. And when I say the ability to nest, what I mean is really it's the ability to be content in a normal relationship and stay put. YouTube, the beautiful space that it is, affords us the ability to have questions and search questions and hear people speak to our questions. And if you're not following BJ Zibmore, you probably should be. I follow him and he's a fantastic follow, and he's going to talk about the nest.
To get an understanding of any discussion or subject, you have to start with the basics. And that goes for female nature. You got to start with the basics. So we're going to start with female nature 101. And the archetype that I normally use to break this down when I talk to people is the nest. I always say, if you can understand the nest, then you can understand female nature.
BJS is going to talk about nesting and the importance of it as a dichotomy between the difference between men and women. But before we get there, I want to show a couple of examples of what it looks like when the ability to nest is not there anymore or it's warped.
I want to be loved. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody I can be vulnerable with. The problem is, and I'm not crying, y'all, because I'm saying I'm crying, y'all, because it's like a release right now. But the problem for me, y'all, is that all the relationships that I had with men were not about love. It was about survival for me. I know how to fuck.
That's one example of a young lady who I believe has the ability to get a man's attention, but she's lost the ability to nest with a man. And here's another example.
If I can ask, what led to the divorce? Was it the business? What? Because y'all were together for 5 years.
Yes, and I learned a valuable lesson.
Okay.
So he was the first person that did not cheat on me.
Oh wow. Okay.
I felt like he was completely loyal to me. Like I never had a question about that. And we got along well, and we did well with finances, right?
Okay.
So young little old me, that's not enough.
Hold on. Gotta speak for the men. So you sitting here telling me that money was fine. He loved you right. He wasn't cheating on you. What the?
Back to the nest.
I remember a long time ago, maybe about 30 years, I used to listen to Dr. Laura Schlesinger about relationships. And she used to say the primary difference between men and women is that men do not nest and women do. So that gives you a key to where a woman's primary allegiance is. Her allegiance is to the nest and everything inside of it. That is internal to their nature. Having a suitable spot or situation to propagate her young is internal to her, and that's where her allegiance is. That is her primary function.
The beauty of this video is that one, it's 8 years old, and second, it speaks to the way things would work in an ideal situation. And I'm going to elaborate on this at the end of this clip, but there's a little bit more I want you to hear.
It all goes back to gathering material so that her offspring will have the best chance to survive in any environment. If you look at the relationship that she has with a man, she's looking at him as material, be it genetics, be it wealth, be it athleticism, intelligence, attitude, social standing, etc. Love comes secondary to that prime directive. So if you understand this, and you know that her primary loyalty is not to you, then you're slightly ahead of the game.
This is profound wisdom in that for many young men who are choosing to become passport bros, they're going overseas and they're probably going to have an apartment or a place where they are living, and they're going to meet young ladies, and those young ladies are looking to nest in their apartment. And maybe the opposite is the case for a lot of young women who choose to travel overseas, because instead of looking to build a nest, they're looking for a place to nest, which is a different dynamic. But there's also the dynamic of, well, what happens in a society where you have young ladies who are trying to nest with certain men, and those men choose not to nest with them, and this procedure happens over and over to a point where they just basically have not been successful in finding a person to nest with, and they are, you know, advancing in age and experience and failed nesting opportunities, and they get to a point where maybe they just don't have the ability to nest as well as they might have had if they didn't have so much experience. Maybe it looks like this.
I think about cheating on my husband every 5 minutes.
So he was the first person that did not cheat on me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I felt like he was completely loyal to me.
When she said that she felt like he was the first person that was completely loyal to her, what that tells me, and it goes back to BGS's video about talking about why women nest and that's their behavior, is that I think that for the modern dating market, there are a group of women who have lost the ability to nest. They may want to nest, but if they're in a situation where they're not feeling the excitement, if they're not feeling the stimulation that they felt from the guys that they wanted to nest with, but they couldn't, and that cycle repeated itself several times, then she basically becomes someone who's unable to nest with someone in a healthy situation.
And we got along well, and we did well with finances, right?
Okay.
So young little old me, that's not enough.
And that's how she gets in the situation where she's in a healthy situation and it's not enough because quite simply she does not have the ability to nest. And I would say for young guys who are trying to go overseas as passport bros, ask yourself this question: can she nest? If she has had prolonged exposure to either F-boys or dating experiences that have challenged her emotionally, she may not have that ability anymore. And so guys that are going overseas looking for more than just people to have a good time with, if you want to build something, if you want to build a nest with someone, ask yourself, can she nest? Can she build a nest with you and stay put? And there will be some signs that will tell you maybe she can, maybe she can't, but you have to open your eyes and understand she's tried to build nests with guys before and it didn't work. And maybe that's left something on her heart that maybe she's looking for something more than just settling down somewhere. She's looking for excitement. And if she's looking for that, she probably isn't the person to build a nest with. So that said, guys, you're going overseas and you're thinking, oh, she has a big booty, she can twerk. Oh, she can do X, Y, Z. I'm going to try and lock her down. That is the wrong thinking. Instead, you need to think, wow, she's looking for someone to build something with, so let me settle down with her. You find that, you may have found someone to build a nest with, but don't try to make someone build a nest when they're not ready, or better yet, they're unable. Be aware of that when you're trying to find someone to settle down with. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.